You are a funny little lion cub. We will reason together regarding your comment here. So in 2014, I'm giving a pep talk. We are lions! Make sure your teeth are cut, ready to rip apart the enemy. And then you. Why do you have a chart and a pointer stick? What are you pointing? And I was ministering inside the church to my fellow congregation. I ministered to pastors. In this same vessel, utilizing the same technique I teach my prophets and my people as we are coming out of this season of rest, walking in the Spirit, walking in love. All of these terms that I talk about in the best way to describe this life that you will always find life in. Without this, you could not build your life upon the rock that I talked about. What are you pointing at? Well, Lord, your approval ratings are increasing across the earth right now. I was just pointing that out. Oh, okay, thank you. So, your creativity and the way your mind works, since we are talking about your mind, you being able to go inside your own mind, as you put it, is one thing. I am able to step out of myself and be here. This gives me the solid knowing how to help people. And what I do is I spend a lot of time up here creating innovative ways to make people feel happy and loved. That is what I love to do. And teaching that, because you may have come to and that's very wise of you for coming to this conclusion, very wise. Lord, what conclusion? Oh no, it was astounding revelation that came through you. That information must have only come from one place. I am impressed that you were able to suppress your own human thought and be able to speak such words. So, Lord, you gave us Saul's teachings just like we rejected God as king and wanted Saul. You knew in your infinite wisdom that we would reject your teachings and choose Saul. And that's why he's named Saul. Lord, I did not say that. It was astounding that you were able to come to this conclusion. I am impressed. I didn't say that, Jesus. You are being too modest right now. So, well, his name is and was Saul. So then, in my infinite wisdom, as I remained in the third heaven, and still had that mentality, I'm going to get kicked out of synagogue for this, but a lot of experience when Romans and others were looking at us, what do they do? What are they actually doing? They argue about their imaginary God. Hold on. He is not imaginary. Back to our argument. So this didn't get us very far, is what I'm saying. So for you to say you are in heaven and I am in the third heaven, I tell you the truth. If you knew what it was like in the third heaven, heaven would not be a description you would use for what we are living at this moment. But at this moment, this is different than it's ever been. So you have to really learn a new way of life, is what I'm telling you. You may have your chart and your graph, but the person I'm sending into your life is going to be able to help you. Then you won't feel so lonely, okay? I may not be nice, but I always tell you the truth, and I will tell you what's good for you. We have lions of different abilities, wisdom, and we have the first thing that you should be thinking about, especially my kingdom marriages. One thing that I wanted in my wife, I wanted her to be alive. So you need to understand that you can have a conversation with someone and they can, on the outside, seem like they could hold this conversation. But their response back to you indicates where their heart is at. So you want someone whose heart is from the Father, centered around the Father, for the Father. So what we understood is there's going to be little ones, and I want them to go to church buildings. I want them to have that influence. And Saul's teachings are sufficient for that. I don't mind if you use Saul's teachings, just don't prioritize them over mine because you feel my way is more difficult. My prophets right now are exactly what I talked about in the Gospels. And anytime you deviate from the Gospels, you're going to go away from God. And I feel that's sufficient to explain why I had such an issue. But it took years and years and years of finally there. Now that matter is concluded. Why I teach the way I teach and what I'm actually doing right now. So I don't want you to feel lonely, and I don't want you to stay inside your own mind. When my prophets are consecrated and they have that time, I am ingraining truth and wisdom into them when they make their decisions and how they view what they are seeing around them. So when they interact with others, they are so much different. And then there is someone that is exactly like you that you will be meeting. I want you to remain focused and understand when it's me in your life. I went to a office that I had to go to in order to take the steps to enter into an agreement with where I'll be spending some of my time in order to gain these pieces of paper that make it easier to walk out of stores with. And when I was in the office, the man was sitting down and the paper towel machine just out of nowhere turned on. And then a paper towel appeared. And he said, "Oh, we have a ghost." This is normal for me because I was directing me there in the first place. And then we could conceivably say that's confirmation. What Saul's teachings do not include, okay, right, but what about the false Holy Spirit, the lying spirit, and how to deal with that? So I was telling my lions, get ready for war. And then I had people saying, Saul said we should do, okay, we're not going to win this war with this type of disagreement. We have disagreement in the first place in order to establish truth. So then we look at, well, the first marriage had disagreement. So it's going to center around your heart was far from me in my prodigals. Now it is restored. So now you will not be afraid to give away your heart to the person that already has it. It makes sense. It's a very godly straight from the third heaven, where in the third heaven, I don't have to appear as if I am following God. I do not have to really say, okay, this is my plan and this is why it's from God. So when you two are in agreement on who you are serving and who is serving you, this is rare. My prophets are going to be receiving, and they are taking their steps towards their new opportunity to the territory I am giving them. And they are equipped with all kinds of different understandings, habits, and a continued focus and wisdom from me up here to change that territory. I have my revival that is happening across the earth. These videos are not just for one select audience. When I speak, it is done. So we all encourage each other, and I've been teaching my prodigals to utilize my prophets and teaching my prophets on different levels, implementing the plan in very easy to understand terms. So, because you understand me, that is the first step to conversation in order to enter heaven. And there isn't a way for you to go into your own mind. Your thoughts are coming from somewhere. We would be remiss to not recognize the truth. Everything anyone knows is because they are able to read. It just so happens my form of communication is encapsulated around the creation of being able to process letters in the form of a sentence, comprehend it, and most importantly, repeat it. When you can see creation from the creator's mindset, as far as the glimpse of one simple act, and the focus is on you, your happiness, being with you, spending time with you, and there is a home for me in the third heaven and you. You can imagine the vast difference of how it is up here. So you being taken into the air makes you so much more special. And your spouse is in the air as well. That makes you even love isn't strong enough word. There needed to be a act of this love, and it is described in the gospel. There needed to be, I don't have the words to tell you how much I love you. So showing the love of God has always been what is going to separate you. That is always going to be, as radical as I was. But in this age, what you're dealing with is the fact that you have deterrence to keep people from doing the things they were doing in the days of Noah, such as prisons and reasons to not. There was no type of law. So you can imagine why the observation and description is in the Old Testament regarding all of the same habits that people have today being displayed in our lifetime. So what I always teach my people, you're building your life on the rock. So your spouse is a huge addition to your life. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added to you. And I keep my promises. So we are, right now, there's a lot of pleasant, amazing things happening for my people. And some people, there is not. And it simply is that way for a reason. Focus on those that are alive. Focus on life right now. And you won't be inside your head, all right? I love you.